What's up, electricians? America's best-selling e-bike just got better. These are the XP4s, Step Thru, Step Over. They're next on the channel. Let's go.
Wheels spinning fast, wind in my hair, redesign frame, taking me anywhere. Long range dreams down the open road, affordable freedom, carrying my load. Ride the horizon, feel the thrill, XP4 power band in the hill, cool colors blazing in the light. America's best.
The XP4 has landed. Many e-bike companies have copied this folding design over the years. Lectric has beat them all, selling about 100,000 of these XP series e-bikes here, these folding e-bikes. And I've owned them all, and every time they come out with a new one, they make them better, but still keep them at the same price. That's the thing about Lectric, is they're obsessed about offering value in the market, and that's why they're so successful. Hey everyone, I'm Chris Cross, and today I'm going to walk you through each version of this bike, from the $9.99 version here to the $12.99 here. We'll do all kinds of testing with the bikes, test out the speed, see how each one is different a bit, and I'll kind of give you a little side-by-side comparison of each model so you can make an informed decision. I'm an affiliate of Lectric, so I'll add links to the e-bikes in the description. I'll put a QR code on the screen at times throughout the video here. If you want to pick up one of these bikes, please consider using my links, help out the channel here, and make a small commission, help keep the channel going. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. I've got lots of Lectric content going back a number of years here. I think I've done more Lectric videos than anybody in the space. So go check out my playlist on my channel here under Lectric there, and you'll see pretty much every bike they have. All right, so let's get into the new models and dive deeper. Let's start with the pricing. So first of all, this bike comes in two flavors, as I mentioned at the top, a $9.99 version and a $12.99 version. Now, the $9.99 version has a 500 watt motor, a 10.4 amp hour battery, and 55 newton meters of torque. That's the main difference versus the $12.99 version. This has a 17.5 amp hour battery, and it has 85 newton meters of torque and a 750 watt hub motor, the new Stealth M24 technology in the rear there. So you're basically buying longer range and more power when you pick up the $12.99 version versus the $9.99 one. With the Step Thru version, it comes in three colors: this Stratus White, Raindrop Blue, and Tempest Gray. The Step Over can be had in this pine green you see here, or Tempest Gray as well. So essentially four colors to choose from, but not each model has those same colors. So as part of this refresh, Lectric went out and hired an industrial designer to redo the frame of the e-bike. And what you're looking at now is just a clean design with the right lines. I mean, look at the angles here with the handle on the folding stem here. Clean lines all around. Everything is symmetrical and in place. And even the C-post and now the stem match each other as far as the angle goes. This is a 0-degree stem here versus the 12-degree one on the XP3 and previous models that was tilted a little more forward. Now with the 0-degree stem, you have a different reach, a shorter reach, and Lectric's trying to accommodate more riders when they do that. Some riders were turning the old handlebars around so they would get more reach. Well, Lectric took that kind of phenomenon that was happening and turned it into a 0-degree stem here so that it fits more riders now with a better reach. Pretty much 95% of this bike is brand new. So let's start up front here with the tires. These are the new 20x3s. Hybrid tread here. They got some kind of flat grooves on the middle here for street riding. But they also got these side knobbies here just to give you a little more cornering stability here, and a really nice tread. I'm pretty impressed with the grip of this thing in my riding so far. I've done about, I'd say, 50 miles or so on each bike, and these tires are their best ever. Up here we got a polypropylene fender now, no more metal. This thing will stay in shape. You could bend it and it's come back to shape here. So a really nice touch here. And I've wanted plastic fenders for forever, since the metal one's way more. It's less weight essentially. So There's a new headlight as well. This is the stock headlight. Comes with these amber side lights here. Let me turn the bike on. So you can see that here. So the light is on now, and these amber side lights come on during the while the light's on. So a nice touch there. Also new is the new front suspension fork. Now this only has 35 millimeters of travel, not 50 or 40 as I originally thought. So it's pretty minimal as far as bounce goes. I thought Lectric should have come out with something a little bit more robust here, like 50 to 60 millimeters. But 35 is what you got. It's a nice fork overall. Has lockout and preload up here. But I have bottomed it out riding it a few times. So this is not an off-road fork by any means. As we finish off the tires and brakes, we have a new rotor up here, 180 millimeters. What's new about this is it's thicker. It's like 28% thicker, I think. So you get a sturdier rotor back here. It's not going to bend as much as the previous version. And when you're braking, should last longer and should get rid of any of those bends you might get, particularly in shipping. And these are Star Union brakes here. These are brand new brakes that Lectric has partnered with Star Union on. Hydraulic disc brakes. And the new levers up here are even better here. They have a really nice alloy feel to them. They're just an overall better quality, 602 Star Union. And 602 stands for the Phoenix area code. So these are custom made for Lectric and with Star Union here. So in my initial tests, one of the best parts about the bike are these brakes. Let's talk about gearing. So a lot of e-bikes come with poor gearing. They don't have a big enough chain ring and not a big enough freewheel. But this is a 56 tooth that Lectric put on. And we also have new detachable pedals here. Improvement over the previous ones. And these are splined inserts. So they just stick better. I had some trouble with the previous versions where they would pop out occasionally while riding. But not these. These are pretty firm once you put them in there. And really nice. They redesigned these as well with the pedal manufacturer. So excellent job there. Moving on to the rear, we have some new gearing back here as well. So this is an 8-speed bike. Shimano Altus derailleur now powers all these XP4s. Step up from the Tourney. And that's paired with an 11 to 32 freewheel back here. I had to have mine replaced actually because the clutch on it was bad, I guess. So they sent me a new one. But with that setup now, no ghost pedaling on these XP4s. And also new are torque sensors. So this is a torque sensor right here. So torque sensor means you're going to get more exercise while you're riding the XP4. The more power you put into those pedals, the faster you'll go. And so it's basically a real world riding experience with the torque sensor. So now when you're riding the XP4, you'll be getting a little bit of a workout unless you want to use that throttle. And all that gearing is for this 8-speed trigger shifter up top here. So trigger shifter, definitely a big improvement over that previous Mickey Mouse one that they had, which was only 7 gears. Now they've got 8 gears and a much better way to drop the gears up and down. Here's the other lever under here. Also new on the e-bike is the previous versions, the key lock was underneath and you had to keep the key in there while you were riding, but no more. So the Lectric has fixed that. The key slot is now on the side and you do not need the key to run the e-bike. Now some people have complained that they don't like that because then people could steal the battery, but you can still lock it with the key. And there's also now an on and off switch here. You have to turn that on to ride the bike. And here is your charge port, different charge port here. You can buy an available 5-amp charger if you want to charge this thing really fast, or they give you a 2-amp charger out of the box. Let's talk about the rear rack here. First of all, the rack itself is integrated into the bike. It's attached to the frame, but they've added this kind of raised rack back here. You can put a seat on this. You can put the other accessories that Lectric has, but it also gives it a nice uniform look across the e-bike line there. You can see these kind of match up here with that handle. Just a really smooth flowing design here with that rear rack. Depending on what time it is, Lectric's running a special, so when I got my XP4, I included a larger headlight as well as the suspension seat post and the comfort seat here versus what you get on the stock e-bike, which is the regular light here and the regular seat post and the normal electric seat that's on all our e-bikes. The rear brake light is now brake actuated, so when you hit the brakes, it does come on, no matter if the lights are on or off. And we now have turn signals as well. So I'm going to press the left one on the control pad up on top, and there you go. There's the right one. Okay, and you can also put on both at the same time for hazards. Watch this. That's a really nice touch, and something that I think most e-bikes should have are hazard lights like that. Each bike is a Class 2 e-bike capable of Class 3 speeds in the settings. Each bike can go 28 miles an hour, but you have to unlock it first. We'll go over that shortly. You do get some more torque though on that 750 versus the 500 999 version though. Let's talk about the range. Now the range depends on which e-bike you get, the 10.4 amp hour or the 17.5, okay? You're gonna go much farther on that 17.5. The 10.4, I did a range test on it already. I got 20 miles on the throttle and about 32 in sport mode. Okay, so 20, 32 in here. On the 750 here, I got about 33, 34 miles on throttle only. Haven't done the regular range test yet as far as pedaling goes, but I will do that in an upcoming video. So that's the difference there. So 20 miles on throttle, about 33, 34, 35 miles on throttle, depending on how much you weigh. I weigh 180, so if you weigh less, you will get a couple more miles out of the bikes while you're riding. When it comes to sizing, each bike is 66 inches long. The bigger amp hour battery weighs 71 pounds going to electric, and the Stepover with the smaller battery weighs 69. Stepover heights, this is 24 inches here, and the Step Thru is 19 inches here, so a little bit easier Step Thru format there for you shorter riders. Here's what I look like on the Stepover. I'm a 6-foot guy. I have the seat post up pretty high, and you can raise the handlebars as well a little bit. I'm going to hop on the Step Thru here now. I'm a 6-foot guy, so I've always gotten the Stepover version as my main riding e-bike, my bike of choice. I'm going to raise this up a bit here. So I'd say if you are tall, on the taller side, above 5'10", go for the Stepover. But here's what I look like on the Step Thru, and I can still get pretty good pedal extension as well. Here's your 3.5-inch TFT color display. It's got the black background here. 5 levels of assist now. They're not numbers. They are Eco, Tour, Sport, Sport Plus, and Turbo. The other thing to note, the battery percentages up here. These drop in 10% increments. So you're not going to see 93% or 47 or 29. It's going to go 100, 90, 80, 70, etc. So that's how they do it. We'll get to how you tell more about the battery in a second. If you hit the center button on the display pad, we have a couple of screens now of more data. So cadence, so how fast you're essentially pedaling, trip time, trip distance, odometer. We've got on the second screen input power and motor power. So this is how much power the motor's putting out. This is how much power you're putting out while pedaling. Thanks to that torque sensor. You got your amps you're drawing and the voltage here. The voltage is the exact way to tell where your battery is at. 54.6 is full. Around 42.0 is dead. So you have about, what is that? 12, about 12 volts you're essentially discharging as you ride. I'm going to go into the settings now. I'm going to hold down plus and minus at the same time. And we have a nice English to read settings section here where you can change every part of the electrical aspect here. Screen brightness, sleep, distance units, tire size. Bike classification, you're going to want to look if you want to do the Class 3 mode. Class 1, 2, or 3, you got a California Class 2, Class 3 for 28 miles an hour. Hit the center button again to go back. Assistance levels. I've actually increased my torque multiplier, so throttle PS toggle, I have all those on. You want that on. Throttle output, full throttle output at all PS levels, so it's not, when you're Eco, it doesn't go 10 miles an hour, it goes 20. Zero throttle start, you can do that if you don't want, for kind of a safety thing. Throttle active from standstill, throttle active, only active when already moving. So if you accidentally hit the throttle, you could, move the bike, run your foot over or something. Now we got walk mode, we've got light operation. One note here is that you can turn on flashing lights. I recommend not doing that because the bulbs do burn out if you leave them on too long. So just be careful about that. Odometer reset, and that's about it there. So a nice, easy to read settings menu from the team at Lectric. Nice job. Here are the XP4s at night. Pretty big throw there on the extra large headlight from the XP4 750. Here's the throw on the basic stock light with the side amber lights there. Definitely that expanded headlight gives you a much wider path here while riding, so keep that in mind. And here's a look at the tail lights of each bike, one with the hazards on, one without. All right, so now we're gonna test the two bikes. So because of the power differences of the basic version versus the upgraded motor, it's going to affect range, it's going to affect quickness, and hill climbing ability. So we'll test out all three of those on my ride test here. So let's go. Okay, I'm going to test this to 20 miles an hour. We'll test both bikes, see how quick each one is. I'm in turbo. I got the race time ramp up. Here we go. There's 20 right there. 5.1 seconds according to race app. So the 500 watt took 5.1 seconds to get to 20 miles an hour. All right, here you go. I'm on 750. I'm going to do 0 to 20 and 0 to 30 speeds. .3 to 20. And it says 7.4. So if a second faster in the 0 to 20 and about a second faster in the 0 to 30 test. So there you go. All right, here's my test hill. Drop it down to looks like fourth gear. And then turbo mode, I'm on the 500 watt here. So doing 12 miles an hour. Holding steady there. So pick up a little speed as this hill has 3 levels, so kind of low, medium, and high. And we'll test out the minimum speed on the steep part up here. And that's kind of my gauge for how well a bike does. 500 watts, so I'm guessing around, let's say, I'm going to guess around 9.5 miles per hour would be the minimum speed for this 500 watt. 750s usually hit around like 11. All right, here we go. Here's the steep part. We are at 15, dropping 14. I'm pedaling. Got to put effort in because it's a torque sensor. 13, 12. Now, this is doing pretty well. 11.1, 11.0. Wow, 11.0 from a 500 watt motor. That's a really good hill climb for a 500 watt. Yeah, very good. Let's see how it does on the really steep hill. Change gears there. This is a 15% grade, so I'm gonna get a rolling start here. All right. Yeah, she's gonna make it. I can tell already. 7, 6.9. That was the minimum. Very good. So this 500 watt still makes an excellent hill climber. Let's test the brakes out here. Whoa. Definitely started sliding there. Had to stop. All right. Next up, 750 watt. All right, I'm on the 750 now. We have to beat 11 miles per hour and 7 in the 2 steep parts up here. So just cruising up here, we're doing 13. So I'm guessing this is going to do like maybe 13 minimum uphill at the steep part. We'll see. All right, it looks like it's about a mile and a half, maybe 2 miles per hour faster at this point than the 500. So We shall see. At this second white mailbox up here is where we're going to do that second part of the test. Yeah, I got that torque multiplier on too. So, all right, here we go. So 14 and climbing. Wow. Okay, we're starting to level off. 14.1. I'm putting in effort, but not that much. 13.1. Yeah, so it is 2 miles an hour faster up the hill of my test hill. Let's try it up here on the steep portion. We gotta beat 7 miles an hour, 6.9 I think it was. So just slow down here a bit and then we'll crank it up. Okay, here we go. This is like a 15% grade. 12, 11, 10. Yeah, it's going to do it at 10. So it's 3 miles an hour faster up this hill with that 750 watt, 85 newton meters of torque. So there you go, guys. So the difference in speed, not as big as the difference between the hill climbing ability, I would say. So this 750 did much better in the hill climb versus the speed test where it was only like half a second faster. So there you go. All right, so as far as riding this goes, I'm on the comfort seat. I think it's a little bit big for this bike, so I'm gonna put on a Suntour NCX and kind of a thinner profile seat that I have to try it out. But this comfort seat is pretty wide. It kind of looks a little bit awkward just from a design perspective. It's comfortable, don't get me wrong, but I don't need this much comfort, I don't think, on a bike like this. I prefer that comfort seat on bigger, like 26x4s. The thumb throttle here, I don't like the placement of it down here. I prefer the thumb throttle that has the kind of the lever coming out right here. We can go up and down. I put one on my X-Peak like that. So this thumb throttle is not that ergonomic. I don't think. You have to kind of reach down your thumb. It's just not that comfortable overall. So I probably would just kept the twist throttle, but they had to go to the 8-speed shifter here, so that's why. I wonder though if you could fit that. The twist throttle and this by just moving this over more. It might not look good, but this thing is really agile. These tires are amazing. These are the best tires ever, in my opinion. They grip really well. They corner perfectly. There's no slippage. You don't feel like you're going to slip out underneath there, that back wheel. I'm just really impressed with these tires. And the brakes too. I mean, I'm doing 20 here. Hit the line. So what's that about? Count this out. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Like 12 feet, 11 feet, something like that. The 750 definitely feels punchier. I think the best reason to get, of course, is the range and the extra punch it gives you off the line. 500 watt does seem slow off the line. It's only got 55 newton meters of torque there. So I think that 500 watt is much more for the casual rider versus the power user like myself or some of the guys out there. But this thing is it's really nice just to throw around. I will say too, the balance on this thing is not as good as my other fat tire e-bikes. I'll turn the level down. I find this one a little bit harder to balance, maybe because the tires are only 20x3s, but it's a little hard to ride this thing with no hands. I always like to test that on my e-bikes. Other than that, you might hear some rattling from the battery or the controller. That can be fixed by throwing some felt pads underneath the battery. It might just be rattling inside the down tube down here. Same thing with the controller. You can just pop out that cover and put some foam in there or something to keep it quiet. So if it is rattling, it's probably what it is one of those two things. All right, well, let's go wrap this up. We'll get you my likes and dislikes, and we'll complete this review of the new Lectric XP4. Okay, let's sum this up and give you my likes and dislikes. First of all, my major dislike is the fork of these e-bikes. It is just really small travel, 35 millimeters. I've bottomed out a number of times on it already. So not an off-road bike. It's pavement or kind of hard pack, well-maintained rail trails out there. The thumb throttle, I'm not crazy about the this type of throttle itself. I think there's more ergonomic options out there. And I kind of miss the twist throttle, to be honest with you. Not going to lie. Other than that, I don't have many complaints. Really, that's the only flaw, is that I think that front suspension there. Of course, you're going to need to change out the seat and stuff like that. I always put a suspension seat post on my bikes. But everything else about this bike is just really nice. They've done an excellent job at upgrading essentially everything on here. I think the only thing that remains is the actual stem itself, maybe the rims and the kickstand. Everything else is brand new in the seat. The 750 is going to be my main e-bike here. I take on group rides, I think, things like that. I have major upgrades coming for this, not major, but we're going to put some seat post on, new seat post on there, new seats. I may switch out the thumb throttle, we'll see. We need some rear bag action, we need a second battery, all that good stuff is coming to the channel this summer here. So again, I'll put a link in the description for these Lectric XP4s. And the new color options are great as well. Again, the Stepover comes in this green and gray. Step Thru comes in white, Raindrop blue, and Tempest gray. Both are excellent e-bikes. I think this is more for the casual rider. This is more for the power user. Somebody who wants more power, wants to go farther, right? This will take you about 30 to 40 miles in real world riding in tour and sport mode. This remains to be seen, but I'm guessing around 50, 55-ish maybe. I'll do a whole video on a range test, a real world range test with that. When I ride range tests, I basically go on hills and ride it as I normally would. That's how you operate the range test, in my opinion. Lectric does theirs in flat conditions in Phoenix with like a 150-pound rider in eco mode. No one rides like that usually, so I include hills in my range tests to give you a much more realistic description of how far these things will take you. So that's it for now, guys. Thanks for watching Crisscrossed. Appreciate it. Hit that like button, hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next Crisscrossed.